Alright, gang, you know the deal. Recaps
All right.
first. Inspiration on the table for anyone who provides some salient information about where our party currently sits. Split between Phandalin and traveling from Neverwinter over the Sword Coast back to that same town. I believe that we have a little bit of courtroom drama that the party's become embroiled in. What's going on?
We're going to start it off with a courtroom drama.
Or whatever is most currently on your mind.
Well, last time we recounted our own things. I think this time I'll say something that happened 70 miles from where my character was.
Go for it.
After relaxing like 20 minutes with someone in a not brothel, Leandrin went and beat up a cat, and then reanimated said cat, and then wandered back to said brothel to pick up her sentient sword, and looked absolutely bojangled when she finally got back.
I think that merits a little bit greater explanation. Gwen, can you remember who the tabaxi in question was, or why this murder took place?
I have no idea why it took place. I just know that it happened. I don't remember the cat's name either.
I can fill you in.
Unironically, that's probably the best way I can recount those events.
That's very fair. What else do you remember from the session, Gwen?
Gwen, 70 miles away, was laughing maniacally, trying to intimidate a satyr while both threatening then actually ramming her turret into said satyr's face in order to try and get some information about why she was spying on us while also being threatened.
What are your suspicions so far?
Well, originally, it was that the satyr and her group were going to try to rope us in with the one witch lady whose name I can't remember.
Adabra, the
Adabra.
healer, midwife, and now discovered to be hag of Phandalin.
Yes. And get us all turned into trees or something. I also believe that they turned the T-Rex into a tree as well. And my justification for that is that we didn't see it, and that's it.
Very fairly said. Go ahead and take inspiration, Gwen. We've laid some groundwork here. What else is going on, guys?
Well, Leandrin decided for a bit of company to at least try to feel comforted by something that she has lost a long time ago. Then she got a blessing from this person to destroy, if I recall correctly. And destroy she decided to do. After ensuring Varnick was getting a good polishing, she decided to go off into Neverwinter, donning a relatively quick disguise, I suppose, and then going towards the Gilded Lily, where Dreamless Sleep takes refuge and runs her shop. Arteris Leandrin decided to use one of her vials of poison on Dreamless Sleep herself, thinking, well, if it could take down Spite, it could take down a cat. She manages to get in relatively quietly, manages to avoid a awkward situation with an alarm one time. And then the second time, well, there was no more time to really talk or do much of anything. She went for the attack. Unfortunately, Dreamless Sleep beat her in the initiative, got some damning blows in relatively quickly. But an unfortunate turn of events where a table landed on her tail gave away her precision when dear Dreamless Sleep tried to be quiet. And Leandrin was ever too quick. Went in, got a couple of stabs. Her Dreamless Sleep's bodyguard started to come in. A short battle ensues. Dreamless Sleep is knocked out and then finally killed. Leandrin, thinking, okay, I have nothing else better to do except for to take this body and run. Takes the body and runs. It's a bit of a daring escape as she avoids immediate sight, takes some side routes, and goes towards the Black Lake, a place secluded enough where she could perform her ritual and ask 5 questions. All 5 of those questions are something that she is keeping very near and dear to her heart. She returned to Varnick, freshly polished, not looking so polished herself, having still recovering from poisoning and several stab wounds, a couple bruises, and after Varnick suggested going to the guardhouse, Landon was like, "Nope, we're not going." Only ever too suspicious. It is at that point that her part of the session ended. From what I recall, on the other side, there was something to do with our dear satyr friend who got intimidated, trying to. I believe Adriel was trying to barter information from her using Leandrin's own name to try and barter with this woman, Willow Switch. They got something. Willow Switch is reluctant to share much, and it is unclear as to what she's shared is true. But the end of the session came around mid-conversation as a Quetzalcoatlus is about to land.
Very well said. Go ahead and take in the inspiration there, Leandrin. That is a very accurate recap of the events in Neverwinter, Dreamless Sleep's assassination, and the difficulties that are beginning to brew between Varnick and Leandrin because of it. What else has been going on, guys? Who is this goat that we've captured, that we've been referencing? Why are we so concerned about her?
She, after going through some questioning, she wasn't answering for a good bit of time, but offering some water and trying to get down to whatever we could with some basic questioning after that, trying to show a little bit of hospitality. Again, not answering, but when taking a turret and saying, "Here, let's see how your face likes this," seems to have opened them up a little bit in either mentally or physically. We found out that they're stating their body is just a form that they're taking, and that they're a different being. The exact term of it is escaping my mind right now, but they said that they're not in their exact form right now. They're actually someplace else. They were just using this to move around the land. And they say, and I quote, "You guys are fucked, right?" And yeah, at that point when they stopped being cooperative with the just basic talking back and forth, and after the couple rammings seemed to have done relatively well, Gwen started to lead the interrogations with some fun inferno and charcoals.
Very well said. I mean, nothing like a little bit of casual torture and terrorism in order to get the information that you want out of the NPCs, yet given the direness of this situation, the party having supposedly pissed off not only the court of the Chestnut, but the pixie mafia that runs it, as well as whatever archfey oversees this entire dominion. There have been some intimations that the intrigue with the Forest Court, the court of the Chestnut here, has gone much deeper than the party may have liked. Warnings from both Willow Switch, Chief Intelligencer, and also Dr. Bryce, the party's barber, surgeon, and also the current proprietor of the Sleeping Giant. And very accurate, Uller. Go ahead and give yourself inspiration. Varnick, Adriel, anything you guys have to contribute about this situation?
Yeah. I'll let the others first to pick up inspiration as I didn't. But I guess to kind of pick it up through Varnick's side. I believe last session was, other than, I think we visited our cats. Is that correct?
Certainly.
Or is that
We did.
visit our cats? picked up a 25-pound, like, piece of fire opal from our momentous stash of it, just sitting at his place, the Titan's Cradle. Along that, with a couple other spell components such as diamonds and golden braziers, which are just coffee mugs or beer mugs, just dunked in some gold and cold, chilled. But from his perspective, seen a bit of a polishing. What's her from the? I don't know if she even had a name listed out, but from one of the escorts from the Moonstone Mask. It was
Indeed.
this dwarven woman.
Her name escapes me at the moment as well, as very likely whatever name she would have given you is probably false, given the nature of the servitors of the Moonstone Mask, the enchantment upon the masks causing them to forget all that they have heard and experienced whenever they take it off. Names matter very little, but it was a pleasant experience for Varnick nonetheless, having been trapped in this bladed body for about a month in game time now, as far as I can tell. Probably beginning to wonder whether the comforts of a corporeal form were even available to him anymore. Regardless, felt good to have the rust knocked off, so to speak.
I would think there's only one other little line, like a small conversation we had while walking up like the crazy floating staircase of Moonstone Mask of Leandra, and I believe it was apologizing to Varnick, kind of preemptively.
For what, do you recall?
Well, Varnick pressed her on the line of the purple worm venom, and she kind of deflected a bit with oh, it's nothing. A bit of a, I'm sorry, I have to do this. And from there, I think that was about the last thing that was said.
Between
Note.
Varnick and Leandrin, I think that is correct. Go ahead and take inspiration there, Varnick. Adriel, would you finish us up here?
Adriel's kind of Lana Del Rey right now, just working at a Waffle House in Alabama. Like, it's just the waiting and patience probably growing a little thin, being summoned to a court full of squirrels not being his dream. Really thinking about the ways he can get Varnick back into the Warforged body they created, and pushing forward, knowing that leaving and coming back to Axholm has always created more challenge, more issue, more problems, and he wants to sledgehammer closed whatever is open at the bottom of it at this point. So he's kind of burbling over the edges at this point. Just Adabra needs rescued, but that's something. Varnick needs back in his sword. That's out of the sword. It's a promise he made, but realistically, we are roiled up and ready to dust our hands of this at this point. So I think the old patience-o-meter has worn thin.
Very good. Indeed, most of the party beginning to feel antsy here within Phandalin, knowing that whatever evil lurks in the heart of the mountain beneath Axholm has not been exorcised, knowing that Varnick must be returned to his body, knowing that you may not have all of the resources to do so gracefully here in Phandalin, yet the party is determined to try. I think that just about brings us up to where we are currently. As Adriel, Gwyn, and Uller currently sit or stand over the beaten form of Chief Intelligencer Willow Switch, the black-frocked and black-furred satyr with curling ram's horns, staring up at you defiantly, having been obstinate during your questioning of her purpose here in Phandalin and her connection to the court of the Chestnut, and indeed her connection to Adabra. As that's happening, the sun is beginning to set here. Another day in Phandalin, growing antsier and antsier. Looking out of the window, Adriel, you can see through the slit crack in the wooden blind the incipient form of a silhouetted winged creature, causing your heart to jump momentarily. Memories of Cryovane, memories of the other dragons that you have faced within the skies over the Sword Coast, yet as the setting sun begins to glint off of the red scales, you can see that it is a friend. The Quetzalcoatlus form of your dear Varnic. Red scales. Not red scales, it's Varnic. They gotta be purple scales in that case. The Quetzalcoatlus form of your dear friend Varnic, winging its way back toward Phandalin, Leandrin within his mouth. As the Quetzalcoatlus sets down a little way outside of the city, Leandrin, Varnic, I assume the two of you seek your friends?
As I shift out of it and just clatter to the ground. Well, we're here. Let's
Wonderful.
see about what they've done since we've been gone for a moment.
Something to note, the satyr was healed. She should be full health right now, I think.
Correct. Thank you for that.
Mind taking me in?
Sure thing. Leandrin will pick up the Varnic sword and go inside the sleeping giant.
The tap room of the Sleeping Giant is poppin', as it always is here evenings in Phandalin. The morale of the town having begun to rebuild itself just as effectively as the physical structures. The threat of dragon attack, the threat of the undead scourge, having been more or less dealt with by the party recently. Things are beginning to get back to normal here, as you make your way through the tap room to the sound of mining songs floating through the atmosphere along with the haze from the fire. Adriel, Uller, Gwen, you can see your companions entering as you gaze at their silhouetted forms approaching the sleeping giant. What now?
Are they not in the sleeping giant then?
They are within the private room upstairs.
I would, is Bryce or who's running the...
Running the bar right now?
Yeah, running the bar.
As you look to the back, you can see that the good Dr. Bryce has once again taken over his bartending duties, currently levering open a tremendous tankard of orcish vodka. Having misplaced his can opener, he simply uses his one plastic surgeried ogre arm on his right hand to twist the top open with a horrible sound of rending metal.
Hey, Bryce, right? Where's the rest of them? The rest of our group.
As you and Leandrin begin to approach the bar, as the sword begins to glow with its familiar telepathy, Bryce looks toward you, kind of shouting over the din of rowdy patrons, saying, "Oh, good to see you guys again. Glad that you made it back in the one piece, and not in two or more. Your good buddies upstairs. Hey guys, maybe just leave town."
Why?
No reason. I mean, it's just a really bad weather here in Phandalin recently. You've done a whole lot for us. I would hate to see anything bad happen to good people, is all.
Winter has ended, has it not?
Yeah, mostly spring again. Hey, look, I'm a little busy with work right now, as he does all he can to continue to serve while he talks to you. He says, but I'm just saying, maybe you don't want to be like accessory to nothing.
Can I roll an insight check?
Go for it. With an 11, I mean, you have seen the good Dr. Bryce and his fits of mania and his fits of paranoia before, yet you can see that he's really sweating as he looks at you. His eyebrows raised high, his eyebrows, different colors raised high. You get the sense that something is really bothering him right now.
That doesn't sound good, does it?
So, just a general question here: are the rest? Have you given that warning to the others of the group,
Oh yeah,
or?
no, they're all 4 of them are upstairs.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. And you know, they say 4 is a company, maybe 6 is a crowd.
Are you just trying to hide something or protect me, or?
Hey, look, you're a nice person. I mean, you was a nice person. You a really nice sword now. A little bit nicer sword than you were a person. No offense. But, I just hate to see you get mixed up in anything you maybe don't want to be mixed up in.
Well, Leandrin,
Yes?
we have one goal ahead, right? Just go up there and see.
I suppose. Let's go.
Varnick, Leandrin, you make your way upstairs. All of you, your ears perked. You can hear Leandrin's soft footsteps making her way up the stairs. The loud rapping upon the door.
Hey, we're back.
Gwen would walk over and swing the door open.
As the door is swung open, you can of course see your companions arrayed throughout the room. You can also see the bound and perhaps gagged form of the black satyr with wild eyes leaning up against the wall of the room.
Whoa. If I interrupted an interesting love sphere, I can
Ah,
give you
don't
guys
be
some-
ridiculous. She'll reach forward, grab the drow, and pull her into the room, and close the door.
Yeah, Leandrin would definitely resist being pulled into the room.
I'll just. Well, can I just wiggle out and just start crawling on the floor I guess?
As
Oh, sorry.
Varnick, as you extrude the thorn whip, dragging yourself out of the sheath on Leandrin's back, snaking your way into the room. You can see
Leandrin would go in. I'm sorry, go ahead.
you can see the eyes of the satyr in front of you grow a little bit wider as she looks from the crawling sword up to Adriel, Uller, and Gwyn, back to the sword, as if to say, "You're not letting that thing have me."
No.
I just kind of speak outward. So, where'd you find her?
Yeah,
about
is
her
she a
now,
friend
back?
or a friend?
Neither. Varnick, come here. Grab Varnick. And carry Varnick over to the mannequin that's been in, like, the back corner. And just be like, "Oi, look at this!"
Gwyn, you were the one who crafted it, if I recall correctly. Could you give us a description of what exactly is in the corner here? You did this.
I did. With help. With help. I wasn't alone. But yes. You would see in the corner, a basically actuated wooden mannequin with moss, like covering it to some extent, purple and otherwise. A face that's vaguely dwarvish but looks pretty close to Varnick's original face. And a weird, like, moving piece in the groin. It looks like there's something going on there. And as far as I recall, one of the nipples is actually not connected to the rest of the chest piece. So, yeah, there's that.
Very well said. Yeah, the clockwork nipple, a quarter turn for, well, never mind. Varnick, you can see before you an effigy of yourself of wood and brass, lovingly crafted down to almost the last detail.
Is this like a likeness of me, just a statue, just to show everybody?
No, we're gonna put you in it.
What do you mean? I'm just gonna be stuck in it, and then I'm gonna be a big block of wood, hard to move.
Wait. Nah, it'd be fine. It's been set up so that you could move it correctly.
So you're saying I could, like, animate it?
Yes.
Gwen
Kind of
calls
like how.
out. You can see the finely articulated limbs, fingers, even the hair upon the body seems to move.
I believe the hair is like moss and various foliage, with a healthy dose of giant's hair woven together
That's what I
to
recall
make
as
like
well.
a big. Yeah.
Here's a better question. How am I going to get in this?
Well, you're alone right now, and I happen to have a bit of an expertise with the runes, and
That's why Leandra was called for a rock.
I'm sorry to repeat yourself.
Is that why Leandra was called for a rock?
Yes, I believe so. Yes, it was.
Huh. Looking this up and down. Now just be straight with me. How obvious is this fucking dick?
Gwen, how does the contraption work?
Well, it is effectively folded up and kind of like made to fit to where it looks like the butt crack. So it is in fact a dick butt, but it's fairly flush with the ass. So you wouldn't be able to tell too much. You can tell what it probably is looking at it from the front. But
So why? Why is there a kind of like trying to pull myself lower to look around it, kind of? Why is there a wooden penis wrapped around the back?
a special request from the kind of like gestures over to Adriel and Uller.
I did
From
not
the
know they rolled that way.
assistants.
Huh. Special request.
Aye.
Alrighty then. I'll just have to figure out how to, like, cover myself if I'm actually able to get in this thing.
I mean, pants still exist, right?
I mean, I'm also going to be made of wood. That'd be pretty, you know what I mean? It might not
yeah,
fit
but you
well.
can still wear pants.
I mean, probably, but, you know.
Gwen would gesture to her like chainmail combat skirt kilt thing. You could always use something like this if you're that worried about it. Also, if you're ever gonna use that, gotta give you the warning now. Don't go crazy, you will kill somebody.
I mean, use it. Oh, you mean literally kill somebody with this thing?
Oh, you'll be a lot stronger in this form.
So wait,
than
you're telling me this was intended for more than just a me to pee or something?
Kind of glances over at Oler and Adriel. I got to give the warning. Just how it is.
Well,
It might be a detachable club.
Well,
That's club. Then I'm a fucking dwarf.
well,
If you're a fucking dwarf, you'll like that club.
true.
Okay, now, come on now. That's a terrible joke, and you know it.
It's a true joke, though.
This whole time, Gwen has been absolutely ecstatic.
Well, it seems like it would work. As long as the fingers have enough dexterity so I can cast spells and I can actually speak from this thing.
Are you questioning my craftsmanship?
No, not necessarily. I just have no idea what to expect.
Fair enough.
Anyway, who's this other person in the room? Just gagged over there.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd be the type to do that.
Like, I'm gonna add. Can you like take the mouth cover off so I can ask a question?
Aye. Waddles over, just pulls the mask off.
I'd ask in Sylvan. Uh, why are you here?
The satyr takes a moment, massaging her jaw, taking a deep inhale of breath, looks toward you, and with a pleading expression in her eyes, replies in Sylvan, I would hope that one knowledgeable of this tongue is familiar with the reach of the court of Neverwinter Woods.
Huh. I see. So what did they do?
Are these your companions? To whom do I speak?
I mean, yeah, they're my friends. I've hung out with them for a while now. Well, not the dwarf very long, but the rest of them pretty long.
Listen, the damage that has been done here can still be undone. I need to send my report before the moon rises this evening. If that doesn't happen, they're going to know where I last was and where I failed in my assignment.
Huh. Well, I've already covered up many of things. I mean, I'd be fine to let you go.
That would be wonderful. If you could just, I don't know, maybe convince the 7-foot-tall angel and the rabbit with murder in his eyes of the same thing. We'd be aces here, really.
I bet it'd be pretty easy. As I start speaking to Calvin, why don't you let him go?
I'm just confused. Do I really have murder in my eyes?
She looks up. She looks up at you, and stares deeply at you for a moment. And goes, "Yes. Have you not committed murder in your life?"
Now let's be honest. Who hasn't?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just a bit.
Okay, a little murder. Hey, what's a little murder between friends? In fact,
Well, actually, is it murder?
Kidnapping, torture, and unlawful interrogation of an officer of the court between friends. Really, I mean, you
Just
can
a bit
sweep
of.
this all under the rug.
Is murder like the same thing, even if it's like I don't know how all that works, but I've definitely killed creatures who are sentient, but like I don't know if like I actively went out and seek them just to kill them, unless they were undead, I guess.
Grinds those goat teeth for a second, and then looks back at you and says, I mean, if you'd like to discuss this in terms of legal jurisdiction and the laws of Fae and men, then keep doing what you're doing. I'm certain you'll get an opportunity to.
Oh, okay. To be honest, I don't really see you point this. So are we having Adriel, Uller? Like, what are they doing? When?
You're asking why we caught them? Well, they were trespassing while Bryce was having a freak out, and that was after we received a summon to the Acorn Court or the Forest Spirit Court or something.
Court of the Chestnut. You should
The chestnut.
at least know the name of the legal entity that you're about to be held in contempt by.
I'm gonna make a history check.
Go for it. Make a history check with advantage, actually, given the fact that your tribe, your Furbolg tribe, hails from the Neverwinter Woods.
So wait, what exactly is going on? The court of the chestnut?
You
It's the natural
are
20.
aiding and abetting criminals right now, is what's going on. With a 22, Vardic. Yeah, you're familiar with the Court of the Chestnut. In fact, there was a stark territorial claim regarding one of your people's ancient druid groves, where a fairy ring had been generated, a passage between the Feywild and the material plane. There was some great deal of difficulty about this. Your tribe's elder gathering the rest of... I'm sorry, do you call them a herd or a tribe? I can't remember.
Bro, you can call them a tribe if you
You
want.
call them a tribe. It's more like a herd of furbolgs, though. Gathering the rest of the tribe. There was serious discussion for many months. You were very young then, and you didn't fully understand the legal ramifications of it. But what it came down to is your entire people were preparing to pack up and move until something very fortunate happened, which is a number of woodsmen came into the Neverwinter woods, foolishly trespassed into that same grove, stomped all over the fairy ring, cut down a number of your most sacred and venerable trees, and that sort of solved the problem, or at least put it on hold. What you understand about the Court of the Chestnut, though, is that it is the primary legal entity governing Fey and mortal relationships in the Neverwinter woods.
Oh. Yeah. This doesn't look great.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, we've done nothing wrong. We caught someone who was trespassing. They then began to threaten us after we asked them what they were doing. And,
It's a bit of
now we're
a...
here.
It's a bit of like... It's a culture clash here. It's a misunderstanding. Like, it's not... Like, where they're from, it's not really that bad. That's pretty average. And then what we're doing is, like, kind of extreme. Yeah.
Gwen just has like a confused look on her face at this.
I know. I'll be honest. I know what they are. I know the chestnut, but I don't know, like, even a 15th of the rules. I just kind of know the broad strokes.
Is there any
Even
rules
if-
for trying to protect someone from killing themselves again?
Probably. But, I just let him go, to be honest. This will just get a lot more weird. It's been pretty unhospitable for them.
I guess Gwen would be the closest one to the satyr, so she'd just look at everyone else for what they think she should do.
I mean, I don't know anything of what this satyr has done, but I don't like courts. Courts are weird and very strange, and oftentimes not fun.
Really not fun.
I mean,
Not fun to testify in. Really not fun to be tried by.
Yeah. I agree with the. What's your name?
Willow Switch. You can call me Chief Intelligencer Willow Switch of the Court of the Chestnut.
I think we should let this kind young Willow Switch go.
That's a fantastic idea.
Aye, she's kind as a barrel of thorns. Not nice at all. Very rude.
you know, she'll be fine.
Oh, she ain't gonna do nothing. Squiggly arms and all that, but alright. No one else has any objections. I'll trust the
If you don't mind, I'm just
druid.
gonna get out of the room and conveniently out of the way. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, Willow
She-
Switch, whatever you call yourself. What's the word here? What do you work under? Like, which one specifically?
Which one specifically?
Yeah, well, what's the word? Archway?
That's the word, yes. I would not ever think to trespass by giving you my master's name,
Oh, not their actual name, like the common name. I'm not.
yet you may consider yourself addressing a servant of the Dusky Lady of the Neverwinter Woods.
Can I make a history / just a history check, see if I Dusky Lady.
Sure.
Was there who the heck is a Dusky Lady?
The 17.
I looked up Dusky Ladybug by accident.
I'll do a check on this.
Sure. As a fake creature,
Being-
you can roll with advantage.
That's actually just what I was going to ask, but you already got me.
Varnick, if you wish to do the same, you may also. With a 4,
Cool.
you have no familiarity. With a 14, similarly, this name rings hollowly within each of your memories.
Same
Well-
thing with a 17?
Yeah, even with a 17, absolutely nothing.
It'll be fine in the end. Just let them out.
All right. Walk over and start doing the satyr's rope.
Very good. As you take a moment to untie her bonds, she massages the blood back into her wrists, looking straight up hatefully toward the party, with a nod of thanks in the direction of Varnick's bladed body here. She goes, "That is fascinating. I think this may be the first time in history that an object of iron has aided a Fey being in their duties." And
Well, it's complicated. I used to be a Firbolg. It's been weird.
she looks at you for a moment and tries in Druidic. Do you understand the high speech?
Well, yeah.
She's going to make an insight check as she looks around for any signs of recognition within the rest of the party. Seeing that none of you have apparently understood her speech with a 24, she looks back directly toward Varnick and says, "Perhaps you will appreciate the severity of the transgression that has happened here then.
I mean, I understand it.
You understand that dozens of Fey beings have been murdered?
Okay, I
within
don't know
this
that.
town?
I actually
They
don't know
have
that one.
been tortured, their essences extracted for the purposes of being trafficked amongst the members of this community?
Yeah, yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I just assumed they caught you. Like, who is this? Who did this?
She looks at you with incredulity and says, "Are you familiar with the hag known as Adabra Kadabra?"
Are you saying hag is like a nice word, like a not nice word for an older human woman, or are you just saying hag is in like an actual? Oh,
I mean an entity born of the darkness itself that reproduces by kidnapping mortal creatures and pulping their remains. I mean one of those.
yeah, no. Yeah, I'm aware of her actually. I knew her as a human. I didn't know her as a hag.
She face palms so hard and just runs it right over the nose, down the lips, full exasperation.
Listen, she was getting in a she seemed like she was going to lose to a mana core. If I thought she was a hag, I wouldn't have even helped.
That is the nature of these beings, is deception. What you need to understand is that what has happened within this town is considered to be an act of terrorism against the Fey courts of Neverwinter Woods. I have been sent here to understand just how complicit the mortals of this place have been in the abduction and the torture of my people. And from what I have seen during my duties, as she looks toward the other three members of your party that kidnapped her, it seems to be very accurate to me.
Well, these group, I wouldn't really believe to actually do much more than this. Besides, listen, I was just able to kind of talk them out of it without no real issue here. Because they were just more confused with what's happening. But Aldabra, on the other hand, if she actually did, like, murder all those poor pixies, yeah, that's pretty terrible.
She looks at you and says, "Your party has already been summoned to testify within the court of the Chestnut. Yet,
Really?
as I understand it, you have been summoned upon behalf of Adabra's council to testify in her defense.
Wait, why?
She looks at you, shrugging her shoulders, her eyes going wild with a, huh?
I mean, I'll be honest. Oh, I mean, in my experience with her, I was just trying to get away from her because she was not really my type, and she was trying really aggressively. But
This is a fantastic opportunity for all of us to be rid of this monster in that case.
if she actually did this, I would be for it. But if I am testifying in her defense, it would be wrong just to lie. If there is some sort of evidence that she didn't do anything.
She looks to you and says, the evidence is something for the courts to interpret, yet the evidence that I have provided them, from her home, from her windmill, and from the rest of this town, certainly seems to indicate that she did this shit.
Well, that's damn.
Now, listen. I already have enough evidence to bring each and every one of you up on charges before the court of the Chestnut of your own.
Me?
She looks at you.
What did I do?
She says, bringing metal into the presence of a fey creature is considered to be assault.
I could not help that.
I'm certain you couldn't. The law is the law, however. I am not without compassion, nor without understanding.
So wait, you're telling me you didn't read the clause that it's not my fault?
She looks at you and says, I can appreciate that. The courts may see things differently, however. If you are interested in repairing the bonds of trust and the bonds of community that have been so injuriously damaged by the activity of the residents of this town, then perhaps you would do well to see that justice is served.
Well,
If you have information about this hag's activities, if you have information about the activities of those within this town that she was plying her trade to, you would be obstructing justice if you failed to divulge that to me.
huh. Well, what I knew her as was a potion seller. Realistically, only thing I've ever seen her make was a healing potion of some sort of weird jelly. Fire-breathing jelly for an old friend. He's like an ancient silver dragon or something by now. But what else?
Alright, we'll
I'll be honest, I don't know which.
She looks at you and says, very well. I would suggest that, should you choose to testify on behalf of Adabra, should you choose to appear before the court of the Chestnut, you choose your words very carefully. There's a great miscarriage of fey justice that is taking place in this town, and I would be personally thankful to see it rectified.
This is
I mean,
all
I
in
would.
This is in
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to see you. Well, not just you, but like all the other people out here just to get hurt again.
Very well said. I think that you.
Also, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind. That doesn't work. I'm technically not a fae.
She looks at you and says, if you understand the importance of harmony between our peoples, then I hope that you will assist your companions in seeing that justice must be done here.
Well, yeah, I will. I mean, he's forced to go anyway. He's summoned. Also, can you put like a little like a trigger warning that I am a sword out there?
She blinks for a second and says, "You may want to do something about that before appearing before the courts."
How am I supposed to deal with this?
That's
I can't
really not
speak
my
while
problem.
turned into a creature. And that
That's...
is your problem if you have to hold me to the court.
Listen, if the court has to hold you to anything, it's going to be your problem.
Mm-mm.
If you want to cooperate and suggest to your companions that they do the same, I think that you will find a much more amicable judgment upon yourselves and upon the people within this city once the truth of what Adabra has done is realized. Once
Well,
this
then.
becomes a matter of record in Fey law, further justice will be pursued. Do you understand that?
I mean, of course.
The blood of Fey beings cannot be trafficked in mortal communities. The liberties of Fey beings will not be trafficked in mortal communities.
Mm. Well, I make sure you're free now. And I'll do what I can to make it right.
Very good. I have a report to make. She looks toward the window. You can see that the sun has well and truly set. The moon has not yet risen, though, as evening begins to take on its purple and blue tones. She looks to the rest of the party and says, hopefully, in common, hopefully your companion will be able to talk some sense into each of you. I look forward to seeing you in court.
So wait, I've only been here for like 10 minutes. I have to go to court.
Well, yeah. Now you do.
Why? Oh.
Well, I mean, you're testifying. You're not on trial currently, but you might be just out of nowhere.
What?
Yeah. Honestly, just say yes or no. It don't matter. The answers will change regardless.
Can I at least ask like what I can do to present the best image?
Don't bring metal, and don't really ask any questions. Honestly,
Huh? Don't
I
bring
know.
metal.
I know it's awkward.
I cannot
Well,
understand the Wutungi
Steel
at all.
specifically.
She'll like gesture to basically every single part of her.
About me, I'm more metal than you.
Barely.
Do I have any blood? No.
What's that got to do with anything? She looks back. Cruel people.
So
No metal.
Miss Willow Switch.
Stone is okay though.
Miss Willow Switch. When are we required to be at to make our appearance?
She gestures toward Adriel and says, I believe that the summons was served to this individual here. I'm not a lawyer. I wish you as much luck as available to mortals such as yourselves.
Oh, wait, if he's just the one being summoned, then sure. Yeah, go ahead.
With that, with a final look of appraisal toward the party here, she takes a moment and opens up the second story window. For a moment, you think that she's about to leap from it, land softly into the night. Instead, she hesitates for a moment, mutters to herself in Sylvan, I always hate this part.
Would you like a bit of help?
You just want me to just polymorph you for a second, and then you can get down the rest of the way?
She blinks for a moment, looks back at you, and says, not going to be direct enough, I'm afraid. As she then leaps headfirst from the second story window, you see her make no attempts to land softly as she directs her horns toward the earth beneath her. You hear a horrible crack as the neck snaps. You can see the body of the Fey being before you for a brief moment, gasping and choking, and then After a moment or so, as the heart ceases to beat, you see it dissipate entirely into a golden light, return to the plane from whence it came.
I thought she just didn't know how to open doors.
I think there's a rule on that too, but yeah, just we're gonna have to be no. We're gonna have to be no steel. Metal's. I think metal's okay, just no steel. All right, no steel.
You know that
Wait,
iron
I
and
can't-
steel are considered to be antithetical to Fey beings.
She looks
Yeah.
at her gauntlets, her armor, her
We're
her
in a
beloved
courtroom
dagger
anyway.
Krov, and she just looks at Varnick and just like, everything I carry, at least everything that I care about, involves metal.
Well, I mean, you know, hey, I have a body now that's not metal, and I don't need anything else. If I actually can get in it.
This is
Yeah,
stressful. Can we
we're,
just
we're
like?
going to court. It's okay. We're not fighting anybody because we're fighting somebody in court. That's just
Yes,
wrong.
but I've never gone without my weapons before. Feels naked.
You telling me feeling naked?
Oh, come on. You have magic at your side. All I have is my martial ability.
You know what? There's many great heroes such as martial ability.
Heroes.
How polite and kind of you.
So, what next? I need to... if we have to appear before court, I had to get my hair done.
I don't know if you should do that.
Why not?
You let your hair be what your emotion is.
Okay. And she's going to, with both hands, just mess up her hair. It's like, does that help?
That helps. Yeah, you're like a dead Eladrin.
I'm a what? A
Eladrin?
dead Eladrin?
Yeah.
Do I even look like an Eladrin?
You're an elf. I mean, they're kind of similar.
I mean, I'm barely in.
You just gotta fill the. You know what I'm trying to say.
You
just
do
gotta
realize I'm barely
look
an
at it.
elf as it is now?
You know what? That is also true, and that's another problem we're going to have to deal with.
Oh, okay. How are we gonna fix that one,
Well, we don't. We're just going to have to take that loss as it is.
Well, I got a bit of work to do if I'm gonna try to transfer your rune to the stone. Can I have it? And she'll like stick her hand towards Leandrin.
The stone?
No,
Yeah,
yes, the one you were asked to get.
Arcat Stone.
Oh, yes, the fire opal. And she goes into her pack and pulls out the fire opal. And then she looks to Uller and says, I could... yeah, I had to use a couple of them. Here you go. And she gives you 5 regular healing potions, 1 greater healing potion, and your change, which was 500 gold pieces, if I recall correctly. And then another 500 gold pieces for the potions you drink.
What do you mean you drank my potions?
I had to drink your potions.
What happened?
Something I don't want to talk about.
Well, as you've been brought into what we've been currently dealing with, are you sure you don't want to include us in on this?
Do you really want to know?
I mean,
Well,
go ahead.
I'm trying to.
I heard you say something real quick. I'll stop.
Well, I was going to ask her on that later. At least she has the money back to you for now.
stone?
I've
Gonna have
given
to
you the
come-
stone. Here
Oh,
you go, tree brain.
Hello there. That ain't right.
Tree
Very
brain.
cruel. All right. Well, Thagilgi, I won't debase myself by insulting you. I'll simply go to the woodworking place, bring the body, bring this to quiet in here. Bit of an asshole you are. And she'll grab the mannequin, fling it over her shoulder, kind of like stab Varnick in the wooden floor, and just leave.
Asshole, inconvenient, noisy, obnoxious. Oh, it's just another title in my belt.
I'm trying.
So, as as Gwen makes her way out of the room here, leaving the rest of the party with a little bit to think about as Gwen begins to make her preparations in order for this great act of runesmithing. A summons on your mind, some missing potions as well. What's going on, guys?
I need to find a good spot to put my gear, at least everything that has metal in it. Would my gauntlets have metal in it?
Totally.
Would they have steel in it?
Definitely, yes.
Splinter's a dragonbone rapier. Can I keep it?
It doesn't have any metal in it, as far as I know.
Cool. She basically is going to, she's going to, I'm going to excuse myself as I find a good place to hide my gear. Anyone have any objections?
There's the, what's it called? The little bag that has a lot of room than its actual size. You know, the thing that you carried over.
The bag of holding?
Forgot the name.
Uller does carry one, yeah. If I'm recalling correctly.
I do have a wonderful bag holding.
Can I
But
ask? You
go
go ahead. You go first.
okay. So we're just gonna leave as soon as we can, get this over with. The faster we do this, the fastest we're done.
Wonderful.
Besides, I don't.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was
No,
gonna
you
say.
go ahead.
I was gonna say. I don't want them mounting more charges on us.
Don't want the what?
Mounting more charges on us.
I see. Indeed, it seems the party is under a great deal of scrutiny right now, as is the entire town of Phandalin.
I wanted to ask really quick. The token I got from Dreamless Sleep, does it have an appearance or do I make it?
The token you got for Dream? I'm sorry? Oh, I see
Yeah,
what you mean. Yeah, the token
that thing.
departed, that's up to you. Flavor is free.
Flavor is free. Wonderful. I will think of something up really quick.
Adriel, Uller, very silent during this exchange. Any thoughts as you consider the charges levied against the party, the scrutiny that Phandalin is under, or the missing potions that your companion has failed to return with?
I would say, in terms of the potions and everything going on, I mean, obviously gold was returned, but there's definitely some sort of disconnect there. That a simple request was asked, but not fulfilled, and when asked for an answer, it was refused. So there is a certain amount of, and I wouldn't say full all-out anger, but just a annoyance look on his face as he just constantly tracks Leandrin around the room to try to look at them to figure out why stuff is missing from him. and trying to gather as much information as possible.
If you'd like to make an insight check, you may.
Do I have anything that I can play in turn or no?
No. It's just looking at your body language, looking at your dress, looking at the wounds that you've recently had. The 15, I mean, there are certainly a few nicks and cuts within the cloak and within the leather barding of Leandrin's equipment that were not there when you last saw her. Very good. The party's suspicions, the party's worries beginning to mount as the moon grows high within the sky. You know that Gwyn has made her way off to Vandalin's smithy. Impoverished as it might be, an artisan of her caliber will certainly be able to construct or improvise the tools necessary. What do we wish to do now?
Could I be helping Gwen?
You certainly could. In fact, I'm
Like
almost...
magically and with a spell, even like something like enhance ability?
It's a good question. You will be at once both the patient, you'll be the patient of this procedure, but there might be things that you are able to do in order to assist it beforehand. If that's where the party's headed next, we're more than welcome to. What do we want to do here, guys?
Gwen would have been at the woodworkers because she's been building the ballista there, and I figured she would have had a little spot of her own she's had set up for a little while at this point. She'd have tools from the smithy though, guild membership and all.
Very good. Yeah, we know Gwen has gone in order to begin this process. Adriel, Uller, what do you guys want to do?
I think Adriel is... Alright, I think Adriel at this point has been quiet, thinking about what's going on. He's gonna find him a quiet space away from everything at this moment. He needs to make a phone call to a friend.
Very good. Adriel moving off to find a quiet space in order to meditate upon the current events, and also to call in an ally. I think I may know who you're talking about. Uller, what about yourself?
I think I'll start heading over to directly supervise Gwen and help out where I can, wanting to get one soul out of a body and put into another. And just casually mention as we walk out of the room, maybe we should find a tailor to take care of our current outfitting needs. Noticing the slashes open in some people's attire.
Very good. Uller making his way down to the woodworking shop in order to assist Gwen. Adriel finding a quiet place. Leandrin going and seeking somewhere to bury her weapons. That sounds like a plan. Let's take 10 minutes and we'll get back to those scenes.
I think this is some of the most I've ever RP'd.
You're on fire, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it was really good.
Big fan. 10 out of 10. Or 5 stars. Would ride again or something.
Bouncing on my booty cheeks.
I'm not doing that, but I am definitely giving you a positive driver's score.
You know that song? That's a good song.
Yes, I do.
Good song. He's pumping deep inside.
Bro.
I think my favorite line is fucking I kiss him on my neck as he kisses me on my pussy.
You know how flexible you'd have to be.
I know, I never thought about that. Like I thought it was if they taking turns, but if I guess it's that once, that's pretty good.
I thought about it
Did you say
immediately.
Neverwinter?
Kind of.
Sorry,
Ooh.
I got distracted.
Yeah, if he's kissing that, imagine the literal dexterity you'd have to accomplish something like that.
I'm just saying, I have to be nice to the satyr to fill out my fucking dating sim one-on-one with Ben. She'll be the tsundere one. And by this, it's going to be like an identical copy of Honey Pop. We'll even play a game of Bejeweled at the end.
Bejeweled's a whole lot harder in Faerun, I think. Definitely more valuable.
I mean, that's just an average RuneSmith gameplay.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just fucking. All right, link 3 blue ones together. Impossible challenge.
That moment when Ben makes me speed run beating Honey Pop to put you back in your body, and if I can't do it in under 4 hours, you're dead.
I forgot that one. The fucking. I remember. I actually watched the playthrough of Honey Pop from Markiplier like years ago. Bro, Markiplier was the goat for real. Or I guess he still is. I just haven't watched him much anymore.
He got real sick for a while.
Yeah. So 100% craziness. I'm ready. I'm ready for Gwen to sort of just be like blankly staring at everything as we're in the courtroom.
Fucking naked.
No, she'd get to keep her leather skirt and like,
Apron.
well, no, it's a full skirt of hers. It's like basically an apron, right? But it's a skirt or a kilt, and if you so
I like
dare.
the line.
Mhm.
I like the line to say, fucking comfort Gwen. We still wear stones. Those are okay.
She's like sat here about to have like a panic attack or something because you're like basically threatening her.
No, you motherfucker. You father mucker.
What?
Am I just gonna be hanging brain, just butt ass naked?
I don't know, man.
Who's gonna be butt naked?
I feel like when you're speaking to a fae, you gotta be argumentative with them, just a little bit. You gotta oppose what they say a little bit.
Yeah, but you gotta understand what they're even saying to oppose it is the problem. And I don't. Other
Well,
than Uller, none of us would know.
like if there was like, well, it's not my problem. Well, it is now.
Cooler's pouting right now.
Me and Adriel, him raised by dwarves, me a dwarf. We're both sat here with effectively poo brain. We don't know what's going on.
Poo brain.
Yeah, just
Must be poo on the brain.
Yeah, I heard shouldn't wear metal. I didn't hear don't wear metal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, don't tell Gwen that. She might fucking start thinking about it.
I heard it wouldn't be a good idea. I didn't hear it would be a bad idea. You feel me?
Adriel and Gwen fucking trying to sneak metal into
saying.
the Fey realm.
I had to go to the wood armor supremacy.
Can I climb in Varnic like a mecha suit?
You'll never see my armor in here.
You know, I don't know if I'm mechanically changing my race to Warforged or am I just like saying I'm a Warforged. I don't know.
So the steel just can't go in front of them, right?
Hmm?
Like the steel just can't go in front of them?
You know what? There probably is no real hardbound thing. It's just going to be what they say in the moment. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Save that inspiration and let it ride.
Yeah, all I have to do is say, "Oh, it's not steel. It's blackstone alloy mixed with a bit of iron or some shit."
Iron is bad.
This is
Yeah.
technically fossils.
Oh. Mm. Mm.
It's old. It's old animal bone.
Mm. No, just say
That's why I asked
blackstone
him if
then.
you make a trigger warning. Can you make a trigger
I
warning?
am triggered. Just waiting for my mashed potatoes.
I'm ready to play a cowboy warlock, whose everything is just kind of like demonic cowboy.
I have an idea for a character.
You just say fucking all 400 McCree lines. Howdy.
It's noon. What's your character idea, Uller? Is it the same one we talked about before, or another one?
It's an old friend.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I have a wizard now that I can play in any game now.
Mm-hmm.
He could be a rat man. He could be any race, to be honest. I don't think the race matters at all.
I can get a D20 dice shaped ice cube box. And I can
Just
make
pissed
D20
off.
ice cubes. That's pretty cool.
I found out Walmart does not have D20s.
You know.
Or at least mine don't.
So we're not including Bryce in this operation, correct? Or are we?
No, I'm gonna bring in someone else who's more qualified for the position.
Yeah, I remember like there was another one, but I didn't know who the other one is. So.
She's very good at her
fucking
job, and she knows Varnick.
Hmm.
I don't know if she knows me. I think it's more, or well, I don't think I know her. I think she knows me.
Yes, and has seen you dead once, so it works out.
Hmm. So yeah. Verdict,
Some
stop
people,
getting all the ladies.
the fucking I forgot what that's called. It's that horrible one. I can't
What's
remember,
called?
but the fucking essentially cucking. I forgot what it's called. Adding in. That would be the next fucking character.
No. If Varnick ever dies, you have to play a bard who's gonna like re-steal all the women.
Dwarf
Like
Bard,
you
man.
gotta one up.
Fat Dwarf Bard, man. I've always wanted to play.
Yeah.
I just think he'd be so funny. He'd be like a literally Oktoberfest just guy.
Yeah.
That's his whole gimmick.
Two dwarves in the same party. And just yeah, let's go.
He'd be a Hell Dwarf and just have slightly different things that make you uncomfortable. Huh?
Oh.
Wait.
It would be like Gwen keeps talking about tradition and mountains and shit, and then he'd just be like, "Oh, but the beer is good here with the humans."
I love cooking. I love cooking bratwurst.
No, Gwen would be down for that. You just have to be focused on a craft. Cooking is a craft.
Cooking and brewing.
Yeah, those two characters would be very fun.
Ugh.
They'd always be drunk. There'd never be a single point in time where we're not poisoned.
You tell them I'm not really a fan of of mining as much as I am just I don't know anything else.
As far as I'm aware, dwarves in the Forgotten Realms just kind of care that you focus on a craft and not necessarily whether or not you're a miner.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Dwarf lore.
Yeah. Oh, I watched like 3-hour-long videos before playing this character. I made sure I like had at least a decent understanding of
Fucking
specifically these dwarves.
Mr. Rex got his ad revenue on your ass.
Hell yeah, he did.
Was that who actually was Mr.
Yeah.
Rex? Yeah. Was
Yeah.
AJ Pickett a part of it?
Maybe this was like a few months ago now.
I watch
I was also doing
listen,
it. Mhm.
AJ Pickett. I like his videos for like monster lore because they're like a lot more straightforward and to the point. They're not like
Yeah.
a bunch of floaty characters who I won't ever talk about or know.
It was also at work, so like I was
Same here.
working while doing this.
Same exactly here.
Mm.
Wait, there's a pizza in there. If you want it.
Who got a pizza?
You're freezing.
Oh, freezer pizza. Oh, fuck that then. Well, for one, I gotta eat a whole freezer pizza for myself. I'm not gonna just share that with you. I'm just gonna fold that in half and eat it like a taco, my man.
I already ate half of it.
You already ate half of it. What the fuck's the point to eat it? That's not enough. You're just gonna make me. You're just gonna make me like pre-hungry. You're gonna make me have half of my first dinner.
A lot of food though. Pretty small. That you have.
Something about bouncing. Wow. Oh, wow. Oh shit. Was that one loud? I didn't mean that one to be loud. I tried not to be loud.
I felt it in my jaw.
Did you actually?
It was pretty loud.
Ah!
I'm fine though.
Yeah. I mean, I fell out of my chair again because of it, but it's okay.
I gotta look up that Alario artist for reasons.
Uh,
I forgot their fucking name. I used to be on top of a lot of the Total War artists. I don't remember a lot of them though. Or Warhammer artists, I should say. Some of them were pretty goated.
mhm.
Some of them were Skaven sleeves. Those were not good. Or well, they were good for a very certain group of people, not me.
My food. My food's here.
Ugh. Switch over.
I've been playing two characters with really gruff voices the past 2 days, so like I'm finding it very hard to get like a higher pitch for Gwen right now. Especially yesterday. Oh my god, yesterday. Today would be a good day to play an orc again, though.
You want to play at work again?
No, it's just that my voice is ready for an orc and not much else. Perhaps I should just start talking like this for Gwen for the rest of the night.
That would work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. What's a meme?
It's a funny internet image or video.
Cringe.
Most of them are, yeah. Adriel can fly, can he?
Yes, he can.
Even with the armor?
Mm-hmm.
Pop that for limited flight.
Huh?
If you're going crazy for some limited flight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an angel. They're cool.
Yep.
I
Oh,
can't find this guy.
You know, as much as I still think it would be cool, Wade, I don't know that making Gerhardt a damper would work out very well.
I was kind of just like, I don't know. Sure, if you wanna.
I locked myself in the chicken run.
Oh,
What?
wait.
Yes, I went to sit with the chickens and smoke a cigarette, and I let the door close fully behind me. It took a second to fuck with the lock from behind the chicken wire, but for a brief and shining moment, I thought I was just going to be out there with the chickens all night.
You have chickens? That's cool.
Yeah, we got chickens.
That explains the earlier statement about firearms and such.
Gun.
I haven't earned my stars and stripes yet. I've never shot a gun.
Well,
You haven't shot a freedom seed?
Nope. I'm an army brat, and I haven't even been taken to the range ever.
Well, you should come on down to Texas.
Or
That's-
your nearest middle school?
Oh!
Now that is a dub. Oh man, my
We got
stomach.
ranges all over here. You can just go to them.
I think Texas would be a bit too hostile for me. I'm kind of like allergic to heat, right? Yeah.
For 3 days last week, it was literally the hottest place in the world, other than some locations in the Sahara Desert.
Deserved.
Was there like the classic camel just now in Texas because it's so hot? Get transported across the realm. I heard that cactuses were wilting because it was so hot. Which I find funny.
That's pretty crazy.
See, Gwen, whenever you hop back in and toss that ready signal, we will continue.
Ah, shit, my bad.
No, you're all good.
I'm like sat here staring at the screen, fucking around with the thing in my hand. Oh, now it's on the floor.
Very good. Let's pick up with Leandrin first. Leandrin, the first to exit the Sleeping Giant Inn, you can see Bryce making big eyes at you from over the bar, as if trying to figure out how things have gone with you. Yet, you have other things on your mind. The concealment of your weapons, and also perhaps the concealment of other truths, equally as dangerous from those that you travel with. Where do you go?
Leandrin will go a ways outside of town, I suppose. She'll make sure she's not followed.
Where are you going specifically?
Could I perhaps go in the direction of the guy, again, that we mentioned, whose daughter died, the one with the dragonfly hairpin?
Yeah, if I recall correctly, the party learned that his name is Rufus Orson. I'm not sure. I think you guys did go and bang on his door once, yeah?
I don't know if we did. If we did, he either wasn't there or
He
something
wasn't.
else.
This is what I recall. The party went and sought out his home. This was many months ago, as I recall, attempted to make some connection with him, and heard that he was alternatively drinking himself into a stupor or spending weeks outside of town at the mining claim that he has been prospecting recently. Yet, you lead yourself to a small shack on the outskirts of town. Even during Phandolin's darkest days, during the destruction, this is, even by those standards, still a very dilapidated shack, more of a lean-to than anything. Rough timbers slanted against a single standing wall. As you make your way up toward it, you can see that there is a single cot laid out on the floor, a single fire pit dug into the ground, a great deal of old, cold ash inside of it.
Still empty, I suppose.
As you make your way toward it, go ahead and make me a perception check.
Wow.
With a 10. Empty, certainly, yet with your dark vision, even within this lightless chamber, you can see that there are a number of insignias of identical symbols carved upon the rough wood of the interior. Just over the cot, you can see, as if someone might have done this, turning toward the wall while seeking sleep. You can see dozens and dozens of very lifelike dragonflies have been carved into the walls of this place.
Well, that's certainly a thing.
What do you do?
I don't want to just leave this thing here. I want to hand it to him. Do I know how far the mining claim is?
You were told that it was a few days south of town, within the foothills, or not days, a few hours south of town, within the foothills of the Sword Coast Mountains. Specifically where the claim was has not been revealed, given that Rufus has been exuding a great deal of paranoia over its contents. If I recall correctly, when you guys were questioning the miners within town about his whereabouts, it was a sad state of paranoia that he had sunken into since the death of his daughter.
I suppose Leandrin would simply write a very simple letter, worded in common, and saying, "I have found your dragonfly. Wait for me at the Sleeping Giant Inn. When I find you, you will have it." And then I will just tuck it under the pillow, or tuck it openly into a space where it won't just easily blow away.
Very good. Upon the rough burlap sacking that serves as the pillow for this cot, you place the note underneath. Do you sign it?
I will not sign it. I will simply say, "A friend."
Okay. Give me one sec. Just making a note. Very good. You write that note, Leandrin. You secrete it within the fibers of the cot. What next?
She'll go into a relatively quiet place in town, or at least in the outskirts of town. I don't have a map reference. I suppose I will use this area stream here, where Leandrin will evaluate all of our gear that has some kind of metal in it. Now, do I have to drop all my treasure too?
If it's got steel or iron inside of it, you've been recommended not to travel to the court of the chestnut bearing any of that odious instrument.
Leandrin will drop off. Does my amulet have iron in it?
Sorry, which amulet?
My amulet of anti-scrying.
No, I don't believe so. That is a moonstone that is chased in silver.
Cool. Okay, cool. The dragonfly hairpin, does it have metal in it?
Has, once again, that is silver with a couple of very tiny emeralds that make up the eyes.
Good. Sorry, I'm just looking at everything that could be some kind of stuff. So, I will drop off Verisi, Krov, all of my other daggers, my short bow, all the arrows, my +1 arrows too, my armor, my portable ram, burglar's pack, the eyes of minute seeing. Do they have steel in them?
Yeah, definitely. Given the fact that they are a pair of glasses, I think they would have a pair of small steel frames.
Very good. So then I'm going to just click. I'm going to basically taking off everything that's metal and keeping my gold. I don't know if you're looking at my sheet, but I'm basically just taking off everything that has metal on it, leaving only the most basic of essentials that she has that are worthwhile to her. Upon taking off those gauntlets, that sudden feeling of heaviness comes upon her. She has been wearing those for well over a year and been spoiled by the strength that they have offered, but that's not a luxury she has right now. After she, again, constantly looking over her shoulder to make sure that she's not being watched or followed, she will bury the gear in that spot and start returning, with wounds still a little bloody, as she returns to town, just like, why am I had to do this? Why do I do what I do? Because I'm a fool, isn't it not? It could be worse.
Leandrin, in that sour mood, seeing those weapons that you've worked for buried beneath the earth, some part of you wonders whether you will ever see them again. As you hold that dragonfly hairpin in your palm, grasping it tightly for a moment, an imprint on your deathless flesh, what's on your mind as you begin to make your way back into town?
How am I going to tell them? How am I going to tell them that I killed Dreamless Sleep? As she looks into her other hand, and she's clenching onto a small wooden object. I will call it a hairpin that hums faintly with the final essence of Dreamless Sleep. That it's an onyx black piece of wood, and just she feels the energy within just there. I claimed you. Your life is mine. But the answers you've given, will they be enough? Not necessarily to exonerate my guilt, perhaps to spare me their immediate wrath.
As you focus upon the token of the departed, as you begin the slow walk back into town, you find yourself accompanied by the spirit of a black tabaxi next to you, her tail swishing faintly in the night breeze, as you hear the voice of Dreamless Sleep once again. You have me, do you? We have one another, and I will remind you that venom works slowly sometimes, child.
And what is that supposed to mean? That eventually I'll die due to my actions? Of course I will.
You swallowed the cup whole, did you not? Took what was offered without considering.
He was my father. What would you do? Deny it in front of him?
Ah, Is he the one who put the poison in you then?
If anything, it made me feel more alive, at least after I came to. But I've lost something. I lost my connection to what I was before. Became half full. Half alive, half dead. Talking to spirits in my head all the time.
A
First it was...
ghost in the company of ghosts.
Yeah, perhaps so. At this point, I don't know what's next. I don't want to live this life all the time. I wanted to get out. At least, I wanted to get out after Father had abandoned me. And now, I'm clearly still stuck in it. Say that this poison will kill me. Do you have an idea as to when?
It depends on how quickly you keep drinking it.
If you mean by blood, I haven't had anything in a while.
You always were
And
a very poor assassin. Poison comes in many forms. On the tip of a blade, yes, but the subtlest poisons, the most graceful executions, come when the target accepts willingly what is given to them. You were offered blood. You were offered poison. You were offered gold, promises. You were offered affection. I wonder if someone like yourself has the power within them to refuse what is offered.
Well, I haven't refused yet, have I? You're very right. It's that silliness, it'll be the death of me. That or someone stabbing me in the back for killing you. No offense.
Death is not the most unbearable thing. I should know. It's interesting the perspective it brings you. Grudges fade away. Interest in the world begins to recede. Indeed, it makes one wonder precisely what they were chasing all of that time. I wonder if you will find a more satisfactory answer than I ever did.
I hope so. I hope to be free. That's all I want now.
As you make your way back into town, crossing the old stone wall, you and your companion pass through a shaft of the half-moon's light as it filters through the clouds. And as the spirit walks through it, as you pass to the other side, you see that she is gone. At least, your memory of her. Speaking words that she never would have spoken herself. Knowing things about you that she never could have known. Yet it brings you comfort to speak to the memory of the woman that you killed. Leandrin, where next?
So I've dropped off my gear. I'm basically coming in with the barest of essentials. I'm going to go sit beside the Shrine of Luck.
As you kneel before the Shrine of Luck, that dilapidated stone statue of Timora, you can see also, in addition to the many coins that have been scattered about the statue's feet, a number of flowers sit here as well, sitting at the foot of the small mound that Sir Adriel had constructed here, the memorial to Sir Bruno Sans-Pité. You find yourself in the company of more ghosts than one tonight. I think we'll leave you alone with your memories there for the moment, Leandrin. Adriel, as your party makes their way out of the inn room, the majority of them moving down toward the workshop in order to begin work on Varnic's body, you said that you sought a quiet place as well, to be alone with your thoughts.
Yes, sir, I did.
Where do you go?
I'm no need for ceremony here. Adriel realizing that Bryce, while well equipped to move consciousnesses around, sometimes makes a mess out of the situation. You know what I mean? So he kind of goes ape shit from time to time. But look at his arm. So he definitely would endanger Varnic. So kind of finding a quiet room, Adriel would shut the door, take a deep breath, knowing that he has his favorite calling card, and cut the pure hand that Karana left to make a quiet phone call to her.
Describe to me precisely how this happens and what is on your mind as you do it.
Varnic was brutally killed by a large jade spider, put into a weapon that has helped them out many times, but that isn't any kind of irony. Varnic has been the parachute, the safety net for every large moment, every mistake anybody has made in this party. Varnic has been the person who's been able to have their back. So Varnic being put into that sword, while has been helpful, has driven Adriel almost to the point of madness, feeling awful for what happened, wanting to put him back as right as can be at the moment, knowing every time he holds him, he can kind of feel the kindness leave for moments of rage. So calling Karana, paging Karana, soul messaging Karana, as it were, knowing she's one of the most powerful crafters of magic he's seen, but more specifically, she makes a trade in switching and owning souls. And if there is anybody I know who could give a spiritual chest kick to a sword and free someone from that enclosure, I've gotten to a point that not only do I believe this succubus could do it, I trust her with the task.
Very well said. A mixture of guilt, a mixture of rage, a mixture of hope. That itself is a powerful offering to an entity such as Karana, yet as you pull the gauntlet off of your right hand, and you gaze once again upon the now very faint scar upon it, the nine-tailed circle representing the scourge of Loviatar. Paladin of Ilmater that you are, as you hold your boot knife within your hand, hesitating before you trace it over the sigil in your flesh, is there an act of mercy in this pain that you offer? If so, what is it?
I have given and given anger and frustration to a lot. I think in this moment, I desperately want Varnic not to feel the way he does. I desperately want to write this in a way the only way I can act out my oath here is punish myself for what I've put him through. This request, even at a friend, will probably come at a cost. And not involving Varnick directly with the knowledge of what will be an inevitable sacrifice I make, freeing him is probably more evil than, or is probably the more reticent danger than whatever is at the bottom of Axholm.
Well said. You take a moment and you begin to trace the blade along your palm. The pain means little to you, but the act of transgression is always difficult. You remember the teachings of the martyred god, to the sanctification of flesh, the scarification of flesh, belongs only to the fates. Yet, this act is willful. As you feel the blade trace the sigil, there is no fire within your palm. There is none of that same sickly venom that you felt sink into it when Korana first took your hand. There's only blood. You wait. A moment, a minute. Nothing happens.
That is abnormal for Karana, I will say that. Adriel, confused by it, would take to kind of the reticence of it, the staunch necessity to get her closer. There isn't prayer that could be offered. She belongs to a god he doesn't believe in. Or if he does believe in, definitely doesn't find himself on the side of worship. Maybe with the belief that she didn't hear or couldn't answer, taking out the let me see if I still have it here. There's a troglodyte skinning knife I still had with a little obsidian tip. One that I came across in finding her, as a matter of fact. Instead of just tracing the sigil, Adriel will kind of steel himself, looking down at his hand, place it flat on an end table he finds nearby, and just take a deep breath and stab the center of his hand.
As you take that deep breath, the candlelight within the room flickers softly, and you find a gentle grip around your wrist. As you look up once again into the pale face, the black eyes, the ebony tresses of Korana, the succubus with which you have traveled before. She looks at you, her head cocked quizzically, and says, "If you wanted to talk to me, all you needed to do was dream of me."
Now, Karana, you know if I could dream of anything else, wouldn't be on this adventure.
She looks at you for a moment, releases your right hand, or releases your left hand that was holding the skinning knife, and extends her own palm as if to ask for it.
I would ask her, almost jokingly, I'll trade you for a library card.
Keep it then. She takes a few steps over to the one bed within the room and flumps down on it, her bat wings flaring out slightly, her slender tail coiling around her own waist. She is dressed as she always is, in that short, black, shift, looking toward you. She says, "You're right, though. Your dreams get very boring, very repetitive."
I really wish I could dream of anything else, but unfortunately I'm a bit of a one-trick pony.
You could. You just need to find something else more interesting. What has brought you here, Dawn Forger? She looks around the inn room. She says, "I see no imminent threats of death. Did you want to talk to me that badly?"
I still haven't came across anyone with powerful enough magic. The sword you returned in the temple has done us great favor. But as you remember, Varnick was merged into it. So I haven't been able to free him. And I sought the best dealer in souls this side of the plane we're on.
Ah. Her eyes narrow a little bit. She turns her head a little bit away from you. Make me an insight check. With a 17, it's an expression of disappointment. Very brief upon her features as she looks back and says, "Well, if it's a bargain you seek, then you know that I am always willing to make a deal. Forgive me, much as you may wish to flatter yourself, I have not been standing over your bedside each night. What trouble do you find yourself in?"
You'll really enjoy this. It's threefold. One, I need Varnick out of his sword post haste. Two, we're about to encounter a Court of the Chestnut, which is a fey court you might just enjoy being at for your own devices. And I might need your help holding on to something for a minute. And then three, there was rumored to be a pretty nasty creature in the bottom of Axholm that you may know about. And it would be worth your eyes, and to you, maybe part of it, to attend the festivities, as it were.
Fascinating. Perhaps the only legal system more complicated than that of the Hells is that of the Fae. You have been trafficking with some strange entities recently, haven't you?
You know my past. If I don't attract them, I seek them.
If I had it in me to feel jealous, I might. Her smiling expression grows blank and serious for a moment and says, "Very well. If it's a bargain that you've summoned me for, what do you have to offer me?"
Above table, do we know what is controlling the minds in the... I don't remember if we specifically know what it is.
Controlling
the party.
minds. Oh,
In Axholm.
you have no idea. All you know is that based upon the Speak with Dead that that Leandrin and Gwyn managed with the Castellan of Axholm, is that false prophecies have been planted into the minds of those living there for at least 150 years.
Cool. I'm going to be honest with you, Karana. I don't know what's down there. I do know it's something you'd probably be interested in. It's been controlling minds for a long time. And if I know there's something a succubus would just love to have in her back pocket, might be something that could control minds from a pretty significant distance. I'm not trying to make your job easier, but I am trying to worry about the more significant problem.
Make another insight check. With a natural 1, all you see is a rather cruel smirk on her face as she says, "Certainly, that is my job, isn't it? Minds? Souls? Remind me, I can't recall. Did I take yours?"
You were knocking on the door of borrowing it more comfortably than I would like to admit at one point.
Ah. A free will, then.
But I think, as I can say now, after you risking life and limb in battle, and I know this isn't said easily, as a friend, you're the person I thought safest to come to, even if it's making a deal with you. I make a deal with you before I would make a deal with most.
She leans forward slightly, her bat wings fluttering. She says, "Ah. As a friend, then. And here I had thought that you had called me here to make bargains."
I'm willing to make a bargain to get your help for the next little bit, that is for sure.
She looks at you and says, "Do you remember the vow that you made to me? Within Kandrakar? When I stood with you against Nightscale?"
I remember you borrowed my soul, or laid claim to my soul. I
To be
won't lie, I
perfectly
forgot.
frank, your soul was held in escrow. I was never even a partial owner.
So I don't remember the vow itself, but I do remember that you were an honest party to what happened and held up your end with an aplomb that was impressive.
Make another insight check. Let's see here. I'm going to roll with her perception, or with her deception. With an 11, she does not even blink and says, "Ah. Words are as wind. We both know. I cannot remember it either. In that case, perhaps a new deal is what is required. Name the services exactingly that you wish from me, and I will tell you my price, Dawn Forger."
I need Varnick help putting Varnick back in his sword. I need you to take anything metal from me while I am in the Fey court, as they have some aversion to craft and quality and understanding and logic, and it's a frustrating one. And the third, and the one that is probably most difficult, is if something were to start to befall me in Axholm on the way down, grab me and pull me from this plane. Make sure I am far away from my friends, so I don't potentially do something awful.
She considers it for a moment and says, "Safety for your companions, safety for your property, safety for your own soul. I could provide these things to you. Certainly.
Then I hesitate to ask, what is the price?
What do you offer me, Adriel? If you
I've brought
cannot
you
offer
this.
me what you have offered me before.
Krun, I have brought you your partner's soul. I have found a way so that you needn't return. You could put him in a different body. Is it my soul you require to do these 3 things?
No, Adriel. I have no need of your soul. You are correct. You have given me the one that I require. Yet, if you have need of my service, and you will forget the vows of your own, then I shall see you swear them by your own blood and soul this time.
Adriel will hesitate, but realize that in this instance, there isn't a ton he can do. He has belief in himself and a belief in Korana, and is willing to gamble with his religion, knowing that, believing that somewhere in Korana's soul, he wouldn't, or she wouldn't want him to be tied to her god either. So he would look at her and say, if you believe I, falling, should serve at your god, then okay, that's a deal I'll make.
She looks at you and she says, I would have you vow, Don Forger, that you will come to my side when called, and you shall serve the safety of myself, my property, and my beloved, in the same way that you asked service of me.
I will nod and say, what's fair is fair.
Make another insight check. She looks hurt. And she says, I would expect no less from a bargain. She looks at you and says, I will not plant it upon your palm, for I know that your hands will serve when called. She looks at you and says, I will plant it upon your tongue, so that you may remember the words that you have spoken to me on this day.
Adriel will stick out his tongue.
She leans forward, gently for a moment, as if to caress the cheek of her lover. Then the fangs distend, the face misshapen into the visage of a bat, and for a brief moment you wonder whether your tongue is going to be severed. A flaming brand imprinted upon it, her eyes staring directly into your own. The slitted pupils of a demon. Yet, almost like the piercing of an ear, it is over before you really notice it has begun. She looks back at you as you feel the blood dripping down from the corners of your mouth and says, "Very good. The bargain is struck. Speak my name and I shall serve. And when I speak yours, you shall serve."
With that, Adriel's gonna nod, stand up, look at her, and say, "Time to return Varnick."
She looks at you and says, "Very well. I will meet you there in guise."
What, a bunch of people won't be excited to see you again? I am glad to see your wings healed, though. You were a little worse for wear after the Lolth Temple.
She looks back at you with a soft smile and says, "It's a pity that you did not fall when you had the opportunity. You would have made a fine and powerful devil." With another flicker of the candle before you, you see her form fade back into the ethereal.
And with that, Adriel's gonna go join Gwen and Allure and Varnick and Robo-V.
Adriel, as you begin to make your way from the sleeping giant inn, at this point, a little bit past midnight,